This is Hunter-Povetkin for Boxing Social, and we're out here in Saudi Arabia, and I'm joined by ring announcer David Diamante. David, how you doing?
Man, I'm great. I'm really excited to be here. It's a huge fight week. I mean, you know, we do basically fights every week, and they're all pretty big, but this one tops it all. This is the big one, man.
You've been around and you've ring announced many fights in the past. But when you began your journey into boxing, would you ever envisage you'd have been here in Saudi Arabia ring announcing, as I said, on a card?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, it's a dream come true. I pinch myself all the time to see if it's real because, yeah, I'm living my dream.
Where does this rank in and amongst the previous cards that you've been able to be involved with?
Well, there's been some big ones. You know, there's been some really big ones. But the thing about this is it's the heavyweight championship of the world. So that's always a little bit different. And, you know, obviously Usyk Gassiev for the unified, Usyk Briedis for the unified, Gassiev Dorticos. There's been a lot of big fights, a lot of world title fights, unification fights. I mean, I just did the undisputed just last week with Cecilia Brækhus. So there's a lot of big fights. But the heavyweight championship of the world is just, it's really big. And I mean, look, we were at Madison Square Garden for the first one, and that was huge. So this one, it's an incredible location for an historic event.
You just touched on the first fight back at Madison Square Garden. In your opinion, where does that victory for Andy Ruiz rank in amongst previous upsets in the boxing history?
Well, I think it's up there with any of them. I really do. I think it surprised a lot of people. I mean, listen, the guys that really know boxing, we know Andy Ruiz can fight, and I know who Andy Ruiz is. It still surprised me. I mean, if you saw that picture of me with the Home Alone face, I mean, I was surprised. And I know Andy Ruiz can fight. You know, I've seen the guy fight for years. I know he's a hell of a fighter. I just thought Anthony Joshua was too big for him, too strong. But you know, Andy Ruiz shocked the world, and it was absolutely unbelievable.
Obviously, out here now for their rematch. How do you expect, or how do you anticipate their rematch to play out?
I think AJ smashes him. I think AJ wins.
Do you expect it to be similar or different to the first bout?
Different. Obviously different. I mean,
you know, this time around AJ would be winning, but with regards to, we saw it become just a bit of a war at times, both of them standing in the middle of the ring, trading, etc. Do you expect it to be similar to that, or do you expect AJ to maybe work into the position to be able to stop Andy Ruiz, in your opinion?
I just think he needs to box. He needs to stick to his boxing. You know, if he gets into exchange with Ruiz, I think it'll be bad for him. I mean, look, this could go either way. You know, I'm going with AJ in this fight, but there's no doubt Ruiz could. I would not be surprised if Ruiz wins it again. But if AJ can box and stick to the game plan, if the openings are there, he can try to put it on him. But just stick with your boxing, and he should win this fight. I think that's how it plays out.
Throughout AJ's career, he's always had an added amount of pressure on him because of what he's achieved as an amateur, and then in the paid ranks as a pro from early on in his career. Do you think there's more pressure on him in this fight, or less pressure knowing he isn't the champion now?
That's an interesting question. I think at this level there's always just a lot of pressure, and I think now it's an incredible amount of pressure. When you get knocked out by somebody, there's a lot of demons that you got to face, and it's very hard, especially going straight back into a rematch. So I think it's absolutely a lot of pressure on him, but I think he's going to be able to handle it okay. I think now the one thing that I like so much about this fight for him is it seems that his mentality is more focused, whereas before, you know, he was such a big star. You know, AJ's like larger than life. And, you know, there's endorsements and there's interviews and there's all this stuff that surrounds Fight Week. And this time it seems like he's really focusing on the fight. And that's what he needed to do the first time, because every step can be a misstep if you're not taking it serious. At this level, everyone's coming for your head. Everyone gets up hard for you because they know that you're the best. They know a win against you can change their life, which we've seen with Ruiz. So this time, he's not taking them lightly. I think he's crossing all his T's, he's dotting his I's, and I think he comes in and he's going to have a good performance.
Over social media and across the boxing world, some people are saying if he isn't successful, AJ may retire. Others are saying that if he was to be successful, he needs to do it in emphatic fashion. Do you agree with any of those thoughts?
Well, listen, as far as his career goes going on in the future, only a fighter can say that. But to me, as far as can he go forward if he loses or if he wins, absolutely. Look, Andy Ruiz is a hell of a fighter, and his style, I don't think it's a good matchup for AJ. It's just not. He's a tricky fighter. He's got fast hands. He's got good footwork. He's got a great chin. He's got a huge boxing acumen. He knows what he's doing in there. He's motivated. He's a dangerous fighter. He's a dangerous fighter. Nobody wants to fight Andy Ruiz. Nobody. And I don't blame him. You know. And so he's got a tough style. So I think AJ's going to win, but if he doesn't win this fight, that doesn't mean that he's finished. If he wants to continue, there's still great fights out there for him. You know, the landscape of the heavyweight division, you know, Usyk stepping in, and maybe Gassiev might come in, and of course Wilder, and Ortiz just had to look really good against Wilder until he got chinned. You know, obviously Fury, who knows how many more fights he has, but you know, he's out there. So there's all these great names, and there's a lot of great fights to be made. And of course, we know the UK supports their own. AJ's from the UK, Fury's from the UK. You never know what could happen. And a fight with Wilder, people have talked about that for a long time. So you never know what could happen if, no matter what happens. I think there's plenty of future for AJ if he wants.
Moving away from the headline fight Saturday night, just get your thoughts on Dillian Whyte's return. How excited to see him back against Mariusz Wach?
You know, yeah, look, I love watching Dillian Whyte fight. He's one of those guys, he brings it all the time. You know, he had a really tough fight against Oscar Rivas, but he came out ahead on that. Obviously, the rematch with Chisora was an incredible fight with a spectacular knockout. That was just unbelievable. So it's always great to see Dillian Whyte. You know, Mariusz Wach, you know, he's had some tough outings lately, but he's a big guy, and it should be fun while it lasts. I mean, there's a lot of heavyweights on the card, so I think all you can say that about all these fights. They'll be fun while they last.
And obviously another fight which has caught the imagination of many, Hunter-Povetkin. What are your thoughts on that one, David?
That might be the sleeper on the card. It's an interesting fight. You know, Povetkin just had that win over Hughie Fury, and he's one of those guys that he's just such a skilled fighter, and you know, he's been at the top, and he wants to be back there. Michael Hunter is an interesting fighter because I'm a big fan of Michael. Obviously, he's got the pedigree with his dad. His dad was a fighter, and he's trained by Hasim Rahman, you know, from Charm City, Baltimore. That's where I was born, so, you know, shout out to Hasim Rahman. You know, Michael's a really slick fighter, but he's also he's not huge. Physically, he's not that big. And that's kind of a little bit of the thing that can be a little tricky for him. So it should be an interesting fight. You know, hopefully his skill and his speed come into play on this. But you know, Povetkin is a powerful puncher, and he's also got a good beard. You know, he's got a good chin. So that should be a fun fight. I'm looking forward to that fight. I really am.
Well, David, I will let you shoot off now, but I will catch up with you later in the week. Thank you for giving up your time now. Thank you for speaking to myself on Boxing Social.
You got it, man. Looking forward to a great fight. The fight starts now.